So here we are with Undertale, and this game is crazy. Just to start things off right, I want to warn you that this will be a very spoiler-filled talk about this game. If you haven't played it yet, you should really do yourself a favor and pause this video and go dedicate a couple of hours into the awesome experience that is Undertale. If you're here, I'm assuming it's because you've played the game already, or will likely never play the game, so you don't mind having things ruined for you. So here we go. Holy crap, this game is not at all what I thought it was going to be. I figured it was going to have some comedy based on the memes I saw online. I actually first looked into the game when I heard the announcement for the port to the Switch. It's one of those games that I'd heard people talk about, but for whatever reason I never looked into for myself. I figured it wouldn't really have too much in the way of a story, just like the bare minimum to have a beginning and an end, like a conflict and a resolution. When I first started, I skipped the intro video, but thought better of it and closed out the game, restarted it, and watched that clip. After that, I started my first and, as yet only, playthrough. I knew that Flowey was someone that I couldn't trust. He was obviously messing with me, but I figured that he wasn't lying too much about the LV, or love, in the game. I figured if I killed the frogs that were attacking me, or the creepy little monsters that ambushed me on my path, it didn't matter too much, because it's an RPG, right? And then comes Toriel. At first, I wasn't sure if she was someone I could trust or not. She told me to try talking to the practice dummy, and I thought I was being clever and funny by attacking it. Of course, it fell apart, and she once again told me that you don't have to attack everything. And I figured, yeah, there's probably some encounters where it's better to let things live, because maybe they could help me out in the future. I gotta leave myself resources, right? When I got to her house, the first thing I did was explore. I went everywhere, including the basement, and tried probably 10 times to get past that point where she would stop me and bring me back upstairs. Finally, I followed along until she was going to destroy the exit of the ruins. This is where I thought, ha! I knew you were bad. She's trying to keep me hostage here. And that's when she said, not exactly mind you, if you're strong enough, I'll let you leave. So I fought her. I figured after a few hits, she'd back down, acknowledge my prowess, and I'd be on my way. Except that didn't happen. She was determined, see what it did there, to stop me from running headfirst in my own death, even if it meant her own death. So I kept attacking until eventually she died. At that point I figured, you know what, she could have stopped this. She knew I wanted to get home, and she tried to stop me. She was obviously evil, right? Except even I didn't believe my own feeble rationalizations. Something just felt off. It seemed like she really was trying to look out for me. But I kept playing. I didn't kill many monsters, except for the ones that I couldn't figure out how to passively defeat or spare or whatever. I probably killed more monsters than most people. I really don't have a point of reference for my neutrality, but I was level or love 10 at the end of my first playthrough. I made another feeble attempt to make myself feel better about my level by thinking, well, by leveling up I get more HP or something, right? At the end of my playthrough, I met Asgore. Everyone had been saying how awesome the king was, how kind he was, how he'd probably let me go because he was just such a great guy. But the whole time I just kept thinking about what Toriel said, not to let Asgore's plan succeed. So once again, I made an ass out of you and me, and assumed that Asgore was an evil king, a la Ganon or something, that he had somehow tricked his subjects of the underworld into believing he was someone good, or that his ultimate goal was for the best, or something like that. Then once again, everything I thought was thrown right out the window. I walked into his throne room with a steeled heart and a couple of nice creams in my pocket, ready to take this bad Jackson on. And he was standing there with his back to me in a field of flowers. He spoke gently to me. He wasn't cruel or mean. He seemed like a king that was doing what he thought he had to do, not because he wanted to do it, but because it was the best thing for his people. He told me to follow, so I did. He attacked me, and I tried to talk to him. Lo and behold, he wouldn't listen. So I fought back. And damn, he was tough. I died probably 8 times before I gave up. Ran back to Temmie Village. Spent God knows how long farming gold to buy the Temmie armor, and went back. And I beat him on my first try. At the end of the fight, I immediately opted to spare him, and I clicked on my cracked, sad, little used mercy button. He talked about how all he wanted to do was see his wife, who'd ran away when he undertook his task of collecting human souls to free his people. And that's when the guilt came rushing back, because I had just spared a man after I had killed his wife for no reason whatsoever. My reasoning of not knowing better doesn't really hold up, since she told me directly to try talking instead of fighting. Then, not even 10 seconds after I'd spared him, a stupid, little, evil, cruel yellow flower popped up and finished him off. He killed the honorable man I had just spared. Oh, that shitty little yellow flower is the worst. And then Flowey absorbs the 6 other human souls and tried to become a stupid god. At this point, he transformed into the fucking ultra mega mecha cactus flower with blinking eyes. Good god, this thing is creepy looking. And it attacked, and after a couple of rounds, I died. And was brought back by Flowey to be tormented some more. So I fought back and I died again. And he brought me back again. This happened several times until all the human souls had helped me to weaken Flowey. At this point, I was flying around the whole screen trying to avoid the barrage of bugs and nukes and flamethrowers and vines and bullets, you name it, until, hey, I did it! I beat him. With the help of the 6 dead kids anyway. When I was given the choice, I spared him, like 52 times. He said he didn't get it, that he couldn't understand. And I realized that I kind of understood him. Because that's how I felt at the beginning of the game, when Toriel was trying to teach me that it's okay to be a pacifist, it's okay to talk it out instead of fighting. That's ultimately why I kept sparing him, even though I didn't spare Toriel. As I played the game, I began to understand. And I noticed myself fighting less and less as the game progressed. After Flowey finally accepted that I was not going to finish him off, you know what this little asshole says to me? That if I restart and play through again, in a truly pacifist manner, that he'd spare the king. So you know what I'm going to do as soon as I finish making this video? I'm going to play it again, on my Vita this time, with a full pacifist run. Because man, do I feel bad about some of the choices that I made in this game. I want to see how I believe the game should have ended, and not the ending that I got, which is probably what I deserved. If you like this review, please check out some of my other content and make sure to hit that subscribe button to see what other games we talk about next. This game is awesome, and my to-do list is full of some awesome games that I'm stoked to dive into next. Thanks for watching.